you usually buy apples? If you're anything like me, you typically go to the grocery store and just buy what's ever on sale. And that works out sometimes because I come home and I think, wow, this is a great apple. And then other times I'm like, I'm not as fond of this apple as I was of the last one. But I don't really make associations between the different varieties. So I thought it would be interesting to take a look at several common varieties that are available in most grocery stores and talk about what some of their characteristics are and what they're good for, whether that's just eating raw or cooking with. So let's take a closer look. So here we have 7 common varieties. We have the Red Delicious, the Fuji, the Gala, the Golden Delicious, the Jonagold, the McIntosh, and the Granny Smith. So most of you are familiar with the Red Delicious apple. It has that classic apple shape, so it's a little heavier at the top, a little tapered at the bottom. It has a really nice crisp white interior, and these really age well so that they'll last almost all winter, and they're also great to eat raw, so perfect for your lunchbox. The next apple is the Fuji apple, and this was actually developed in Japan in the 1930s, but we really started seeing it more in the 1980s in the US. It is a large, crisp apple. It's a relative of the Red Delicious. It's great sweetness, and it's really wonderful for eating raw. It's also great in salads and also slaws, but it doesn't hold up that much to cooking. The next apple is the Gala. This is a little bit taller and wide. It is similar to the Red Delicious in shape, you can see. It's very mild sweet apple with a nice crispness. It's usually kind of this light red color with a little bit of this bright yellow streaks that are going on. It has a thin skin and it's really good, so it's really a wonderful apple for children because it's a nice sweet apple. It's also really good for cooking. The next apple is the Golden Delicious, and this is actually not related at all to the Red Delicious. It has a soft texture and a thin skin, and it really can bruise very easily, and it will shrivel if you keep it too long. So this is one of those apples that you want to use as soon as possible after you purchase it. It is a really nice all-purpose apple. It can be good for everything from pies to sauces as well as eating raw. The next apple is a Jonagold apple, and this is actually a cross between a Jonathan apple and a Golden Delicious apple. It has a beautiful, nice red color, and you can see the specks of the yellow throughout. It has a very sweet flavor. It's thin-skinned, and it's similar to the Golden Delicious. But there's a nice balance of tartness, which is more like the Jonathan apple. It's a really versatile apple, and if a recipe calls for an apple, you can use this Jonagold apple almost every time. Then we have McIntosh apples. McIntosh were actually my favorite apples when I was a little girl, and they are very sweet. You can see they have a round globe shape. They're wonderful for eating. They don't stand up very well to baking because they get a little mushy, so they're better if you want to use them in applesauce or apple butter. And then the last apple that I'm showing today is a Granny Smith apple. This is that classic bright green apple. It actually originally came from Australia. It's very firm and crisp and extremely tart. And when it gets particularly ripe, you sometimes notice a little bit of rosiness under the skin. It is really good with salty cheeses and savory foods if you're going to eat it raw. It also sweetens up when it's cooked, and so it's my favorite for apple butter and for caramel apples. So this Granny Smith apple, like I said, is the perfect apple for baking. It's a wonderful pie apple, but it is also my favorite for caramel apples, and I've included a recipe for caramel so that you can make homemade caramel apples yourself. Enjoy!